If you've ever caught yourself spending days, weeks, even months trying to find the best sales team by sifting through, resumes, conducting interviews, going through phone calls, doing mock calls, calling past bosses and so on and so forth, only to hire a rep who cannot close, guess what? You're not only bleeding time, but you're bleeding money as well. Now, in this specific video, I'm revealing the hidden cost of trying to build a sales team by yourself from day one. And if you stick with me throughout this video, I'll show you how to save tens of thousands in wasted time, leads, and opportunity cost, and how you can ultimately find and vet the top 1% sales team that can fit into your organization. Now, in order to do that, let's hop right into the outline that I wrote out here. Now, here's the plan today, and this is what we're gonna cover in this specific video. We're gonna expose the top 5 or the 5-step recruiting funnel and why it chews up over 55 hours of your life, more or less. We're also gonna calculate the opportunity cost, the thousands you lose on calls that you should have taken yourself or should have passed down to your top rep, right? And we're also gonna look into and see how bad hires can silently kill your revenue. And finally, I'm actually gonna give you a blueprint to fix the entire sales recruiting process without sabotaging your entire business. So let's hop right in. Now, let's look at the first problem, which is that recruiting new reps can devour your time, okay? And here's the funnel breakdown. And this is what most founders don't realize. And most founders will go post a job board, whether it's on Facebook or these, Facebook groups specifically, or they talk to their network, or they get posts on Indeed or LinkedIn Jobs. The thing that most people don't realize is the volume required to find the top reps, okay? There's a reason there's a saying that goes, hire slow, fire fast, okay? And in turn with that, this is exactly why Sales Match exists, is so that we can keep your hiring pipeline full. You keep your sales pipeline full with leads, we're gonna keep your hiring pipeline filled as well. So that whenever you wanna get rid of a rep, we're here to replace that rep for you. But back to the actual the work over here. Now, most founders don't realize that finding one good hire can look like this. 180 candidates that you're sifting through, every single resume you're going through, you're reading their question or the answers to the questions that you asked. Because again, the way we conduct interviews and the way we collect resumes, I should say, is not a typical resume. We ask them questions, a lot of questions as well, because that's the first layer of defense. You need to add a lot of friction in the recruiting process to vet out the crappy leads, okay? Just as much as when you create a funnel, a sales funnel, the more friction you create, the better the quality of the lead's going to be, but the less amount of candidates is actually going to go through and book a call with you. The same thing happens in a recruiting pipeline, except we want to add a ton of friction. Why? Because in order to find the top 1% reps, we have to add all this friction because the guys and the girls that do make it through to the end, they are going to be highly qualified. So a typical funnel will look like this: 180 candidates that we're sifting through, asking questions in their resumes and so on and so forth. 72 phone screens of 10 minutes each, 24 full interviews of an hour each, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, 4 final trials, 1 actual hire. That's a ton of funnel strategies, right? And the reason we do that here at Sales Match is because we specialize in finding the very best talent, right? We do not want to interview everybody. We do not want to talk to anybody. We want to talk to the cream of the crop. The more friction you add in your recruiting process, the better, okay? Now you're probably sitting there and asking, well, Craig, where the hell does the 55 hours come from, right? Well, let's break it down, right? 72 phone screens at 10 minutes each. That's 12 hours right there. 24 interviews at, an hour each. That's another 24 hours. Now, 15 hours of, posting ads and sifting through resumes and, all the admin work around that can easily take up 15 hours of your day. And then more or less 4 hours to onboard and trial your finalists, right? Now, that adds up to about 55 hours that you aren't spending where you are in the zones, being a genius, leading or closing deals, creating other opportunities, filming ads. Concentrate on the highest quality dollar per hour tasks in your business. And I can assure you that recruiting, in terms of the time spent sifting through resumes, posting job boards, sifting through the crap, that is not what you should be doing, right? And that is also why we deliver the cream of the crop when we pick top closers and setters for businesses just like yourself, you only have to interview three interviews. That's it. We will conduct all the other interviews around it so we can sift through and we only hand you the very best. Why? Because we believe in saving you time. Hey guys, just as a quick reminder, if you are looking for elite sales talent such as closers or setters where you don't have to do the training, the hiring, the vetting, the calling the ex-bosses to see why they got fired, we do all of that for you. So if you're interested in having Sales Match find elite sales talent such as closers or setters on behalf of you, click the link below. Let's schedule a free consultation call. But right now, let's get back to the video. Now, anyway, back to the material here. Again, whether you spend that 55 hours over, a couple of days, which won't happen, or a couple of weeks or 2 months, regardless, that's 55 hours that you're spending in purgatory, right? Imagine turning all of those hours into closed deals, brand building, or new offers, or filming ads, or doing something that is a little bit more or a lot more higher value per time spent, okay? Now, here's the opportunity cost that comes in, right? If you're a closer yourself, if you still have a small organization and you're still closing deals yourself, and let's just say you make 3 to 5K a deal, every hour you're off the phone is directly impacting your lost revenue, okay? And now let's be super conservative here. Spending 55 hours on this funnel easily means that you're missing out on 20 to 40K in closed deals or in closed businesses if you are closing the deals yourself, okay? At a price tag of 3 to 5K. Now, if you're a founder, you need to be spending your time on the highest leverage tasks, like I mentioned before. And again, one thing that I can mention to you, sifting through resumes and sitting through interviews with no shows, burning your time, wasting your time is certainly not the best use of your time, okay? And this also has a domino effect, right? This doesn't factor in, follow-up calls or new product development. The opportunity cost of you spending time sifting through bullshit resumes is real. And every day you're funnel building, the actual recruiting process is a day your sales pipeline is not maximized, okay? And this is why our clients use us to ensure that we have the best talent possible so that when you're ready to replace your reps or to get setters or closers, you know where to find them. We'll plug and play, we'll do the dirty work, we'll do the grinding, we'll be the a-holes to make sure we get the very best talent in front of you. Now, what is the cost of a bad hire? Well, let's look at the low close rate. We've all seen it, right? A rep closes at 5% when you're used to them, or the KPI or the OTE should be at 20%, okay? You then not only blow thousands on ad spends for the calls and the leads that are going to that specific closer just to watch them vanish, okay? That is just one part. You're spending, that's a direct cost involved with that, right? Where you might have spent 10K on ads and might have gotten one deal out of it, where you could have spent 10K on ads and might have gotten 3 or 4 deals out of it with your top closer. That is a real tangible opportunity cost that you can track, okay? Again, that one subpar performance can easily cost you thousands in missed revenue just on a small batch of calls, okay? And not only that, guys, that is the direct monetary effect. There's also a triple down and domino effect like we talked about, which is your culture and your momentum, okay? On top of the money, a bad rep will drain your team's morale, they'll waste leads, and undermine your entire sales engine. Replacing them is just another 55 hours that you have to spend on that. So I have caught myself, and I've been through this rut where it's an endless kind of battle that you go on, and I'm sure you guys have struggled with this, where it's like, oh, well, I don't want to fire this underperforming rep because I don't want to spend another 55 hours fucking conducting interviews, going through these phone calls, creating mock interviews, calling past bosses, doing reference checks, and then just have them not show up to the call. It was so frustrating, and this is where I saw the gap was that, hey, if I only had a company I can work with where they ensure that when I want top talent, they can find and place the top talent. That is why I created Sales Match, okay? Now, again, this is the problem that we all deal with. But guess what? If you do not get rid of that underperforming rep, you're going to kill your team's morale. Your top closer is no longer going to respect you, no longer to respect the offer, and they're going to start doing whatever the hell they want, okay? Because you are tolerating mediocrity. You should not be tolerating mediocrity, okay? Now, again, let's look at the cost of delaying this, okay? Well, while you're drowning in phone screens and interviews, you are not launching a new ad funnel, forging new joint ventures, or building your back-end offers. Those specifically are 7-figure or 8-figure activities that you'll never get back. Okay? I've seen business owners stall for 2 to 3 months on mediocre hires, only to discover that what if we just hired the rep 2 months ago, 3 months ago, paid the recruiting headhunting fee, and guess what? It would have probably paid for itself at this point in time. And this is something that a lot of founders don't kind of track, is the missed revenue and the opportunity cost of dealing with a mediocre sales team or mediocre person on your team. Get rid of them. Okay, it's a painful wake-up call. Do the math yourself, right? I've been there and I've done that, right? And I've made so many mistakes until I realized what the true opportunity cost is of just dealing with a mediocre person on the team. Okay, now here's how you can fix this. Okay, you can either delegate or outsource your recruiting, and please make sure you work with a reputable company such as Sales Match, right? Where, we actually protect founders' times, okay? Recruiters or specialized services such as Sales Match, right? We will screen all of these candidates on your behalf, right? We will do all the hard work. We'll conduct the interviews. We'll do the mock call, the triage call, whatever it inquires, calling past bosses, doing reference checks, doing culture fit, personality tests to figure out and exactly look for, or go out there and look for the person you're inquiring about that you need and that you know is going to thrive in your business. We'll do all the heavy lifting for you. And guess what? Once we've conducted all those endless interviews, we're going to just deliver top 6 video interviews to you, right? Quick little video interview of the person explaining why they think they're important to fit into your organization. At that point, we've conducted interviews, we've done all of that. You pick the top 3 you want to interview, you interview 3, you hire 2. Done. That's it. All you have to do is 3 interviews and pick 2. You can do that in a couple of hours. Instead of spending 55 plus hours on recruiting, delegate that to us and we can get that done for you, okay? Remember, we don't want to hope that closers can close, okay? You have to enforce mock calls. If you're doing the recruiting yourself, great. But just make sure you're doing things such as mock calls. You're going through their past references. You're calling their old bosses. You're asking them questions such as, what would your old boss say? Or what is your old boss going to say when we give them a call, right? Figure out 2 sides of the story. Speak to them, speak to the boss, call the boss. Make sure you get in touch with their old boss and figure out, why did they leave their last position, right? That would tell a story faster than anything else, okay? Watch sample recordings if they're available from their old job that they worked in. Review those calls if they're available, okay? And test for emotional intelligence amongst the other 200 things that we test for. Obviously an over-exaggeration, but we test for a lot of things and we look out for a lot of things. Again, if they cannot handle the pushback, they'll kill your close rate and you shouldn't employ them in the first place, okay? Trust me, we create so much friction between the point from our applicants, because we get so many applicants per job, because we're sourcing from a place of abundance. We have to add so much friction. And when we do that, we only end up with the cream of the crop, okay? Now again, building a sales team is crucial, okay? And it's one of the most important things and high leverage tasks in your business. But you need to know what to look for. You need to know what to, spend your time on. And unfortunately, sifting, if you think of a funnel, right? The recruiting funnel up here, let us do the heavy lifting at the end. Sure, recruiting is super important. Building your sales team is arguably one of the most important things you can do. But the start of the funnel and the top of the funnel is not that important, right? Sifting through the bullshit. Let us do that for you so we can end you at the bottom of the funnel where you are only talking with a highly qualified leads for the closers or sellers that you do want to hire. So at the end of the day, if you found value out of this video, please drop a comment below. Let's chat. Let's create a community where we can have conversations and all help each other become better. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.